Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land from which we are recording from. We pay our respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. This afternoon, we will be presenting Project 30-20. Caitlin, Beck, Anna, Kaila, and myself will walk you through our urban development framework as well as our individual proposals for Sunshine Victoria.
So, Sunshine, where is it? It's located within the city of Brimbank and has existing rail connections to Melbourne as well as some regional and suburban lines. We are proposing more of these lines as well as an airport rail to encourage Sunshine to reach its connectivity potential. Zooming into Sunshine itself, to help with this additional connectivity, we propose to add another train station, which will be gone through in more detail soon. So looking at the indicative population for 2051, it's clear that Brimbank and hence Sunshine's population will grow significantly, something we are planning for.
During our visit to Sunshine, there were a few predominant factors that we noticed about the neighbourhood, including public space being taken over by transport infrastructure and poor use of open green space. We noticed that local businesses were struggling and pedestrian access was limited. And most importantly, it didn't feel like a safe, welcoming neighbourhood to visit or to live in. Some redeeming characteristics of Sunshine were the old brick heritage buildings and a strong sense of diversity, community and culture.
Our team devised a vision statement for the project, and 4 main themes can be identified from it, which are connectivity, activity capital of Melbourne's West, celebrating diversity, and creating a human-scaled neighbourhood that promotes sustainability and livability.
Next, I'll be going through our master plan, from the existing site to our proposal, identifying key points we wanted to address in the development of Sunshine. Firstly, looking at the activity zone. We then identified early on that the rail at ground level created a divide between east and west of Sunshine. Also, that a man-made river passes underneath the rail at this point. The current stations, Albion and Sunshine Station. Main roads within Sunshine that we are redeveloping. The current secondary roads, we also identified poor pedestrian care. We propose to elevate the train line. This will prove to better the connections between east and west of Sunshine. We propose to reduce the car access by 70%, creating walking and cycling paths under the tracks and through Sunshine. Creating new and improved intersections under the rail. Our newly proposed elevated train stations, Sunshine Central, which is the key main station, Albion Station and Sunshine South. We also looked at the Council's proposal to apply to our framework. Removing parts of the proposal to develop these areas further. This is our main focus area for our building and activity development. And lastly, we allocated 6 zones, with each team member developing that zone according to the master plan development.
In order to meet the projected population growth in Sunshine by 2051, the current public transport needs upgrading. Here we have an overview of how Project 30-20 envisions the future network. The biggest upgrade will be to the train routes, which will be upgraded to connect the airport and larger city loops. We also propose to extend the current CBD-only tram line out to serve the Sunshine to better connect the two. Lastly, the existing bus networks are fairly strong, with just few additional services needing to be added. We propose to have tram and bus stops no more than 300 metres apart across the network, so users are always a short walk away from public transport. As mentioned earlier, we're adding a Sunshine South station, along with the existing Albion and Sunshine Central.
We propose the implementation of e-scooters in Project 30-20 because they have proven to be a fun, easy mode of transport within a neighbourhood that discourages people from driving to their destination. There are 6 main parking hubs that serve as primary programs and attractions, and low-speed zones around major intersections. The idea is that a scooter will always be close to make transport easier than private cars. Here are some examples of architectural design elements we have drawn from cultures all over the globe to manifest in Project 30-20's built environment. This aims to improve the architectural diversity of the precinct and make anyone who's travelled or emigrated to Sunshine feel at home.
Our central gardens are located just north of Sunshine Central Station on Anderson Road. The gardens aim to immerse public life in Sunshine by creating a central gathering spot to meet, commemorate and exercise. A main gathering spot has been situated in the middle, connected by a memorial walk, celebrating Indigenous culture in Sunshine. This perspective view of the gathering spot demonstrates how the public can immerse themselves into the space, creating a sense of connectiveness to the heritage of Sunshine.
Starting the presentation on our individual development of the master plan and our focus buildings, I'm Anna and I'll be showing you my proposal for Sunshine Central. Sunshine Central will not only be a place to travel, but a meeting place with multifunctional spaces to allow for diverse commercial and community activity. Starting with the general mass of the central station, determined by the height of the rail and the length of the platforms. I then cut through this mass to create connections through the site and under the rail. Programs under the platforms will bring people to the site not only for travel, but also as a place to meet, gather, and enjoy. A public gallery, a library, mixed-use office spaces, a cafe, bar, and restaurant. At both sides of the main entry are public plazas, as a place for people to meet and gather. A large bus terminal sits next to the main entry with a clear road access. Large arch structures form the circulation to the platforms. This is to define to passers-by where to clearly enter the platforms and also creates a sense of movement. Cast concrete arches form the structure to the interior spaces underneath the platforms. These arches act as a skeleton to the building. Platforms are added to the top of these arches. All of the platforms are sheltered with solar panels and have water collection. Utilizing the empty lots at either side of the station and adding laneways to cut through the sites. There are 2 levels of commercial space on the sites, and a range of mixed-use buildings from 50 meters tall to 45. All of these buildings could utilize their roof space with green roofs. Since there is a lot of residential buildings around the site, I have proposed that in the future a lot of these buildings could be developed into large-scale residential buildings. Looking at the first floor plan to the multi-purpose station, you can see that the main entry is the focal point to the spaces and is the key point of interchange between the platforms, and the main ticket areas opening up to the plazas either side of the entry and spanning out like wings to the rest of the programs. Above the program sits the large 250-meter long platforms. This is to future-proof the station and accommodate for Sunshine becoming the gateway to Melbourne since the addition of the airport and Sydney lines. This is a view from the main entry, looking up at the arches that form the circulation to the platforms. Bringing natural light into the spaces under the platforms, I've added a series of light wells. This removes the need for the use of artificial light in the day. The same technique was used on the North Line platforms with a series of light wells that allow the light to penetrate underneath into the public library spaces and the gallery spaces. In this perspective of the public library, you can see that the light illuminates those interior spaces with natural light. This is ideal for reading. The library also looks over the memorial gardens, so you can sit back and relax with a book with a nice view. The exploded axo shows the arch structures form the circulation, while the bookshelves divide the spaces into smaller reading rooms. This section and plan illustrates the bus terminal proposal. Sitting underneath the arch just off Anderson Road, you can see that there is a clear circulation for the buses to quickly move in and out. The cafe and bar and restaurants sit next to the terminal, allowing for people to stop in and have a coffee or relax with friends before heading off, or as a meeting point for people as they're entering the site from the buses. I'll end the presentation with a few renders.
Hey, I'm Kaila and my proposal is called Third Yard. In today's cities, space is a valuable resource. High density is essentially the goal for planning sustainable cities, but this doesn't need to mean more infrastructure, just more efficient infrastructure. Third Yard envisions a paradigm where, when the markets close for the day, another program can take its place. It jumbles together a blend of ephemeral architectural elements with permanent bases and skeletal structures. There are 4 key themes that Third Yard addresses: sustainability, ephemerality, diversity, and modularity. The project minimises demolition waste and focuses on careful selection of local materials and careful climate design. Ephemerality throughout the project enhances, adapts, and creates public spaces to fit into the voids of surrounding masses. The space will cater for all individuals' needs, and modularity allows for flexibility of programs in both short and long-term developments. In order to design a proportionate human-scaled market, I needed to first look at the makeup of a human body and how much space different people need to walk, turn, sit, or eat. I then applied this to 3 modular cube options. Module 1 is 3 meters cubed, which I'll go into more detail in a second. Module 2 is 900 cubed and will be used for guiding circulation, herb and veggie gardens, and mixed-use benches. Module 3 is 450 cubed to primarily be seating, as well as more planter boxes. The modules take on concepts from Vietnamese fish markets and also the construction of scaffolding, the most common and well-refined temporary structure. Module 1 is largely customizable, and the overall market's goal is to reduce transport emissions, so it focuses on local suppliers where the produce cannot be supplied directly from the gardens. Looking at Third Yard in the context of Project 30-20, it runs under and parallel to Sunshine Central Station and sits on the south end of the Central Gardens, effectively in between Anderson Road and Hampshire Road. I wanted to show more of a hybrid between a site plan and a ground plan because the context was a main component of my design, yet its function could be explained better if we look beneath the viaduct. Permanent structures repurpose the space over the underpass and under the train line and run south along the outskirts of the station into a void that was created in the council's building mass proposal. It features gender-neutral bathrooms, storage, lifts, a scooter parking hub, and a range of retail, hospo, and outdoor programs. Pedestrian circulation comes down from the gardens and the uni, and from residential areas to the east, but the main traffic will be coming from the station, so the barrier between the two was a large concern for the project. Cyclist paths cut through the site, and service roads come in from the east for produce deliveries, or if extra frames need delivering. The shed is the structure that runs parallel to the station. The 3 levels with a series of voids and aerial walkways create the perfect space for markets, exercise events, or parties and festivals. The shed connects via a walkway to the second structure under the viaduct. What was previously the train line is now a hub for events, exercising, eating, or checking out the latest pop-up. Local artists will be welcome to paint the columns. The artwork depicted here is inspired by Wollongor and Nampanunga. Here I've exploded the 2 primary structures, but as you can see in the bottom illustration, the forms continue through to the south square where they climb the facade of the buildings that the council has proposed. And finally, I've got an interpretation of the space during the day, with the public exercising, transiting to and from the station, and buzzing around on e-scooters. By night, the market pops up and creates a totally new use of space. The market could stay for an entire week, a month, or just one night. So here I've just shown transiting between the 2 to give you an idea of how the space changes. And then back into day. Thank you so much for listening. I'll pass you on to Jack.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jack, and this is S Squared, a sporting precinct for Sunshine. Channeling the need for stronger community connections, S Squared will act as a place to unite and gather the community of Sunshine together through various internal and external activities. The precinct will be activated through local and national competitions, training sessions, travel and destination, and educational facilities, which will be a branch of Stony Creek University. The space has evolved around a hubbing strategy that is comprised of sports science facilities, teaching and research spaces, as well as indoor playing facilities and transportation. This will transform the space into a community destination that is active day and night, weekends and weekdays. The precinct is located to the south of the rail corridor with easy access to neighbouring precincts. A 400-metre walk will see you arrive at Central Station, the Entertainment District and the Central Gardens. The proposal for the sports station includes elevating the rail and activating the space underneath the viaduct with a gymnasium. To further enhance circulation between space, additional laneways have been added to create new connections to various programs. commercial buildings, residential housing, a central plaza, mixed-use facilities, and external sports programs complete the proposed exterior spaces. Moving internally, the ground floor includes 2 basketball and netball courts, 2 multi-sport courts, a 24-hour gym, aquatic centre equipped with a 50-metre competition pool, a 25-metre lap pool, and a recreational pool with diving boards. Cafe and retail spaces are situated in the main building with entry via the gymnasium or laneway, with included event spaces and staff rooms. The first level includes a space for table tennis, volleyball and badminton courts, exhibition galleries, and classrooms, which is inclusive of research and biomechanic labs. The third level sees Sunshine South Station with 4 platforms going out west for population growth, platforms going north towards Sunshine Central, and an added airport and Sydney line. The gymnasium and Sunshine South Station, highlighted in red, shows easy access to external facilities highlighted in dark blue under the viaduct, central plaza, and commercial and residential spaces. The gymnasium and aquatic centre have been divided by a laneway which encourages users straight through to the plaza. All internal retail and cafes are accessed internally from the gymnasium or via the laneway. This was done to encourage a stronger relationship between the external program and the internal program. The first floor comprises of 10 table tennis tables, 3 volleyball courts, and 4 badminton courts, all which look down over a void to the basketball courts and can be seen from neighbouring classrooms and station circulation on level 3. A further 3 classrooms, 2 research labs, a biomechanics lab, and a 50-metre internal athletics track allow students to simulate movement patterns in class. The site section shows the external sports program and its relationship to the viaduct arches, which has been filled with mixed-use programs. These programs look out onto the outdoor sporting activities open to the public and include 24-hour gyms, dance studios, mixed martial arts, and rock climbing facilities. These spaces are easily accessed via laneways connecting them to the main gymnasium, plaza, and Sunshine South Station. Here are some external perspectives which illustrate how the proposed spaces are used by the public. This image shows external access to cafes and gyms accessed via the laneways. Seating arrangements are outside these programs and used as a gathering point for users. The plaza is a larger gathering point where the community of Sunshine can congregate to watch different types of sports during the day and the night. The plaza is set up on a square grid which has been divided into a hard and soft surface to encourage the community to interact with it more. Underneath the viaduct, the columns are decorated with sporting images and are surrounded by basketball courts, skating parks, tennis courts, and cycling and walking tracks. Thank you for listening, and I'll hand you over to Beck.
Hi, my name's Beck and I'm going to be going through the Stony Creek University and Albion Station. So my location is up on the north of our site. A quick site overview. So here's a photo of the existing site conditions. We have the existing rail corridor, Ballarat Road, which is a busy highway that crosses over the rail there on the overpass. Pedestrians have to go under the road via the underpass here. We have the John Mills Flour Mill, which is a heritage listed building. We have Stony Creek, and then the proposed site conditions. So we have the elevated rail viaduct, the new underpass, which the roads will go under the road, pedestrianising the ground plane. We've got the new raised Albion station and the Stony Creek, which we're resurfacing. Looking towards 2050, the way that education will be delivered will be a little bit different. The on-campus facilities will only be library and study spaces and specialty classes that cannot be performed online. My vision A is for accessibility. So I want education to be accessible for all, not just university students, bioethical, so keeping future-friendly and sustainable measures in place, and connectivity, so globally associated via the Albion station, which connects us to the airport across the world. So site context here is the purple is my zone. So we have the the underpass that we discussed earlier, the rail, we've got the pedestrian path in the dark red and cycle path in the light red. And then we've also got the new tram lines that run along Ballarat Road. Blue dots is the station entries and green is the tram stops, so very close proximity to public transport. Quick concept development. So here we have our proposal for the Stony Creek University, pointing out the arches that are inspired by the London arches that make up the form of the ground plane. We've activated under the rail and we have the new raised Albion station. So just going through a site plan, we have number 1, escalators up to the station, 2, elevated platforms, 3, station amenities, 4, hospitality and retail vendors, 5, public English school, 6, the entry, 7 to Stony Creek University, 8 rooftop garden study spaces, 9 re-exposed Stony Creek, 10 Service Road, 11 Ballarat Road underpass, 12 the tram stop, 13 John Mills Heritage listed building, and 14 the council's proposed buildings. So just looking a little bit further into the Albion station, at the ground floor plan here, we have number 1, which is all our station amenities, so our bathrooms, ticketing, and elevators. Number 2 is the vertical circulation, so you've got the escalators that Anna has up to the train platforms. Number 3, we have hospitality and retail vendors under the viaduct, and 4 is the English school. Just quickly running through the university plan. So here we have the Woolies Metro on the far left, complete with a loading dock and service road, library, technology labs, all with help desk, staff areas, bathrooms, and lots of voids to allow the light through down to the ground plane. Here, similar, we've got the study spaces. And then under the rail viaduct, we have the restaurants and cafes and English schools with the classrooms that I mentioned earlier. And then on the second plan, so the second plan upwards is all the same. It's far more private university spaces. So we have classrooms, storage spaces, open study spaces, and we've also got those voids allowing light down throughout the building again. Just some elevations, so pointing out how the university relates within the John Mills building and the rail corridor. And then some site sections here, so cutting through the rail corridor, you can see into the buildings and how it will all relate. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, Beck. So I'm Caitlin and my project is called the Heath Precinct. It is located just to the south of the rail corridor and in between Albion and Sunshine Central Station. It is called the Heath Precinct because it is equipped with spaces for health, education, ambition, leisure, exhibition and residential. These programs aim to nurture, develop and promote the creative and cultural spirit of Sunshine. Looking at the surroundings, some heritage sites like the Flour Mill, Cultural Centre and Memorial Gardens are close by. Across the train lines is the new Central Gardens, and this precinct aims to cultivate the site by exposing Stony Creek and bringing together nature, culture and the inspiring character of Sunshine into one all-inclusive landscape. So here's that development in more detail. As you can see, currently the creek is underground and a portion is covered by the Albion Station car park, which is, as proven by our site visit, is mostly unused car park that is closed off from the public. The proposed diagram, however, shows the space being utilised by all, performing different activities and enjoying the exposure of the creek and the history behind it. Looking at the broader context of the site, the new and the old buildings are integrated into the background context of my project. Another thing to note are the undulating paths underneath the rail lines, which serve to immerse the users in temporary exhibitions and installations and guide them towards the Heath Precinct. A few main points about the layout of the infrastructure. The creek is brought right down and is interwoven with the building. It creates a kind of public space where people can have picnics, play games, all the while in a nice relaxing space. You'll also notice that the building on this ground floor is split in two. The southernmost building includes spaces for education, in particular adult education regarding language, history, and sort of life fundamentals, I guess. This encourages a community where people feel safe and where they can learn as well. The northernmost building holds all of the exhibition programs, function rooms, performance halls, and private studios where artists can work. In the level above, the sloped paths that lead up to the outdoor performance space are made clear, and the space can be accessed from every direction and every level. Most noticeably in the second floor plan is the roof terrace that spans over half of the south building, which provides views outward. Included in the program for this level is some eating spots and a gallery, which both promote public use. and the roof plan, which shows the shelter over the outdoor seating and stage. This is obviously an essential part of the design as the large steps are north facing. I want to point out that on the left, the structure is quite perpendicular to the ground plane, making the activity within the space quite structured, whilst the right side is broken down and essentially has activity happening at every metre. This concept is supported by these renders, where the top one you see a large expansive entrance to the site with the facade quite apparent, and the bottom shows the gradual slopes and steps. So ground floor activity. Implementing our arches allows this undercover plaza where the public can enjoy retail and gallery experiences, as well as walking along the Stony Creek Trail. And the first and second floor activity with the large steps and the roof terrace looking outward.
Thank you so much for listening to our proposal. We look forward to your feedback.